Sri Yukteswar first met his guru, or first met Babaji rather, at the Kumbh Mela. And this was when Babaji asked him to write the only book that we associate with Sri Yukteswar, and that is his Holy Science. And when I first was aware of this book, I was rather afraid of it. I knew it was profound, but other friends also said, oh, it's very dry and it's hard to understand. And even Yoganandaji said, even when I read it, I have to stop in places and think what it means. And now we have a bookshop with many dozens of books on the path of our gurus. And when I first came on this path some 45 years ago, there was the autobiography of a yogi and 2 or 3 other small books by Yogananda. Swami Kriyananda had written 3 very small books. And it didn't take me long to read all of those books. And then there was the Holy Science. And I couldn't avoid it any longer if I was to consider myself any sort of self-respecting disciple. I had to read it. And when I did, it's true, there were parts of it that went way over my head. But there were other parts that were very interesting and other parts that were very helpful. It's in this book that Sri Yukteswar gives his explanation of the yugas and the principle that we are in between Kali Yuga and Dwapara Yuga. It changes everything that we know about what's happening in the world around us and even our own individual decisions. And it's essential reading for a serious student. And then there is a rather surprising passage in the book about the need for devotion. And in this, Sri Yukteswar says, Om is heard through the cultivation of Shraddha, the heart's natural love, Virya, moral courage, Smriti, memory of one's divinity, and Samadhi, true concentration. The heart's natural love is the principal requisite to attain a holy life. When this love, the heavenly gift of nature, appears in the heart, it removes all causes of excitation from the system and cools it down to a perfectly normal state. When this love becomes developed in man, it makes him able to understand the real position of his own self, as well as others surrounding him. Without this love, man cannot live in the natural way. Neither can he keep company with the fit person for his own welfare. He suffers in body and mind. He can never find any peace whatever, and his life becomes a burden. Hence, the culture of this love, the heavenly gift, is the principal requisite for the attainment of liberation. It is impossible for man to advance a step toward liberation without it. And so who says that Sri Yukteswar was dry and intellectual? You can't put one step in front of the other on the spiritual path without this natural love of the heart, without this devotion. And as Serena read, everything in future will improve if we make the right spiritual effort now. And so if it's so important, what exactly is this right spiritual effort? And Swami Kriyananda said, don't think that it needs to be one big thing that is going to suddenly take you out of where you are. Think rather in terms of taking one step at a time, of choosing one small positive act, no matter what it is, and see it through to completion. Finish everything that you start. Give it your full concentration. And this step-by-step approach, this perseverance, is what brings us results. Swamiji said, when you make the right effort and then invoke God's power to sustain you in that effort, you will find Him reinforcing you and giving you the strength gradually to win out over all obstacles. But you must make the right effort first. God cannot help you until you try your best first yourself. There's a rather a strange story of Sri Yukteswar and about a disciple of his, a young monastic disciple who was very dedicated but had this longing for perfect human love. And they were traveling, he and Sri Yukteswar, by train one day. And Sri Yukteswar said, Divine Mother is going to grant your wish today. And after a time, they stopped at a train station. And Sri Yukteswar said to the young man, look out the window. And out the window, there was stopped another train. In the train was a girl, and somehow looking at that girl gave this young man, it's like it fulfilled every desire that he had for human love. Then the train went on. That glimpse only. After that, he had no further desire. It's like that karma had been fulfilled. That was all it took. And we just never know. It's like, the nail that we're pulling from the board. We have no idea. We've started pulling, but we don't know how much more of the nail is left in the board until it finally comes free. And so it is with every obstacle, every test, every difficulty, every unfulfilled karma. We don't know when or how God will find a way to free us. And what do? We take one step and put it in front of the other. We persevere. We take whatever little positive act that we can do, see it through to completion. And then in future, everything will be better. Thank you.
Swami Sri Yukteswar was quite a powerful yogi. Yogananda Ji talks about the first lines in the autobiography of a yogi are the characteristic features of Indian culture have long been a search for ultimate verities and the concomitant disciple-guru relationship. My own path led me to a Christ-like sage that brought him liberation, Yogananda Ji's words. And throughout the autobiography, Yogananda Ji talks about so many different aspects of Sri Yukteswar's life, his guru's life. And when you put them all together, it is quite amazing. He met with Babaji 3 different times that we know of. He healed our guru of Asiatic cholera. He helped Yoganandaji give a discourse in English on the ship over to America when Yoganandaji really didn't know English yet. He spoke for half an hour, gave a very good discourse in English after praying to Sri Yukteswar saying, "Help me deliver this lecture." And Sri Yukteswar, of course, was back in Calcutta. Sri Yukteswar appeared in Serampore and Calcutta at the same time. And of course, we know after his Mahasamadhi, he resurrected in a Mumbai hotel room and told Yoganandaji all about the astral world, and Yoganandaji wrote it down for us. So Sri Yukteswar is a very powerful yogi, and he trained Yogananda to take Kriya Yoga, meditation, to the West, and therefore transform the lives of, and then Yogananda wrote Autobiography of a Yogi. So when you think of how many lives Yogananda has touched, having been trained by Sri Yukteswar, millions and millions. And then how meditation has just become a revolution in the West as it's sort of coming back also, to more popularity here in India. And of course, when Yogananda went to the West, he brought the power of Babaji, the power of Lahiri, and the power of his guru, Swami Sri Yukteswar, with him to be able to start such a work in the world. And Sri Yukteswar transferred his power to Yoganandaji. And then Yogananda talks about a story that Swami Kriyananda tells us, that when Sri Yukteswar was trying to teach Yoganandaji about the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Yogananda was complaining because they were spending like 8 weeks on one sutra, and he was getting impatient, thinking, this is just going too slowly. And Sri Yukteswar said, have patience. And then at a certain point, soon after that, Sri Yukteswar says, now you have the key. You have had an inner experience of the truth of this scripture, and now you will understand every scripture that you ever read, and you'll be able to talk about its deepest meaning to anyone, and you'll also be able to do that for any situation that comes up. So Sri Yukteswar had transferred his magnetism to Yoganandaji and allowed him to understand everything from Sri Yukteswar's consciousness. And then Yoganandaji did the same with his disciples, with Swami Kriyananda. And Swami Kriyananda was able to do that with Yogananda for the essence of the Bhagavad Gita and many, many other books. But that is the true disciple-guru relationship, is that we grow in wisdom, we grow in expansion of consciousness through an inner attunement and through the magnetism of the guru. And in the end, that's what the guru has to give us. They have promised, the guru chooses us. He has promised to take us to liberation. And the only way he can do that is if we are open to his magnetic power to change us. And as Sri Yukteswar said, everything will improve if you make the right spiritual effort now. And what is that effort? We know for sure it includes Kriya Yoga, since these gurus sort of were born to bring Kriya Yoga to the planet. And that means all of it. That means the energization exercises, listening to Om, sitting in the silence, all the different techniques that we know. But it means opening ourselves to their teachings, saying, yes, I will do this, you have brought this to me, and so as a humble disciple, I will do what you tell me to do. They also told us to serve their work. They also told us to have satsang with Guru Bhais. They told us so many things. Yogananda said, if you would do 1/100th of what I teach you, you can find God. Of all the different things I'm telling you, these are the ways that we attune ourselves to the Guru. And of course, we have to act like a humble disciple and know that every situation in life is brought to us for a reason, for our growth. We can never think that life is unfair. Only what our karma draws to us for some lesson unlearned comes to us so that we can become stronger and become more like them. And also, we have to know that we are worthy disciples. We can't say, oh, this is easy for the masters, they have an infinite consciousness. It's like we are worthy. We don't have to say, I don't have time, I'm just a housewife, I'm just a lowly this or that. It's like the whole purpose of the Guru's come is to say, you can become what I am. And I am here to teach you how to do that. And a humble disciple doesn't abase themselves. They just have self-forgetfulness. Humility, Yogananda said, is just forgetting the self. So when we focus on the consciousness of Sri Yukteswar, when we focus on the consciousness of the Guru, then we can expand our consciousness. Are you guys okay up there? It's okay. It's okay. Harmony is everything. We tune ourselves to the Guru's consciousness, and harmony naturally resonates throughout our lives.